Another extra. I don't mean to be in the... No, you're fine. You're not.
Space of gentle awareness. Begin breath. Thank Ram Dass for this beautiful, beautiful, simple saying. Be here now. Now be here. Open your eyes, see love all around you. sending out announcements, so just everyone knows. This will be our last class prior to next year. So we'll be picking them up on the first Tuesday after the New Year. So I want to take a couple weeks off. You look familiar, but I don't think have you been in a class before?
Never been here before, no.
What's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan? Everyone, let's welcome Ryan. It's great to see you, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Welcome to the practice. Welcome to our family. It's great to have you. This is not a new face for me. He's an old friend. Maddox just...
She invited me a couple Tuesdays ago. I stopped in and got some crackers and we talked. I had a chance to make it last week, but I wasn't really sure I made it.
It's great. So great
Welcome.
to see you. Welcome. Welcome.
Nancy, I'm a friend of Maryland's.
Great. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
So we're not going to be here the next 2 weeks, but we'll be back in the new year, which means May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and then December. We are going to be going into our 9th month of classes already, which is just, where has that gone, you know? Thanks everybody for coming. Without you all coming, there wouldn't be a class, and thank you everyone who is a part of our class on Facebook and YouTube and sends wonderful comments of encouragement. Please continue to spread the word to those you feel are ready with a mind open and a heart open. Share the word. It's been a wonderful experience. It's unbelievable it's been that long already. So I look forward to 2017 in the class. I want to do a review like we normally do, but I want to spend a little less time. I've been called to speak on a topic, so I want to make time for that topic. So we're going to move through this a little quicker than we normally do, because I want to do a little bit of a talk on it's going to almost seem like it's going to seem so fixed that I would talk about this topic in this time of the year, but as usual, I'm being asked to talk about it in a way that's a little bit different, so I look forward to sharing that. I'll obviously be hearing what I'm going to say for the first time along with you, so I always look forward to those times when I'm called to speak spontaneously on something. It's a lot of fun for me too. So let's go through our guide from last week. Again, if you weren't here for the last class, there's always something to learn just from going through the review. The practice is not like math. If you missed the first class, you don't have to wonder how you're going to catch up. Just be present. You'll get what you're supposed to get out of it, and that's how it always works. Whether you open the book or whether you come to a class, you'll be right where you're supposed to be when you're there. Soul memory carries on from lifetime to lifetime. Just because your cells die doesn't mean your soul memory dies. The essence, the ether of what you are. This is why past lifetimes can have a present physical symptom in our present life, because the energy around belief, emotions, and our opinions about life continue to be stored in our soul memory. Always remember, whenever we're using words like soul, we're using words to try and describe something which is in essence beyond our ability to really describe. We're trying to wrap verbiage around something that we can't really conceptualize. Always remember that whenever we use words about things like this. They're always, when we use words in these contexts, I always like to immediately admit all words are inadequate in describing the types of things we're talking about. They're just descriptions. So always keep that in mind. As always, we do not judge ourselves or others. We honor where we are at and now. We treat ourselves and others lovingly and compassionately. The degree to which we have balance in our relationships, regardless of compatibility, is directly proportional to the degree of balance we have with the flow of life. Yes, that's exactly right. There's a direct relationship between that. It's a wonderful access point. And balances that cause disease are not confined to this lifetime alone, but also to past lifetimes. These two can be healed and brought back into balance. Embracing our immortality may very well be the key to healing. Yeah, and this continues to show itself. Hi, Jan. Welcome back.
Hi, Jan.
This continues to show itself, and it's indirectly a part of my point of topic tonight. Contrast the way of free will and its adverse side effects with the intuitive way of choiceless surrender. Remember that life is in control. Affirm the truth that life intends good, surrender to thy will, acknowledging that you don't know what's best, except you will never know or completely understand why things happen. The biggest issue to accepting this statement, more or less, is looking at something in a very small period of time, looking something in a very snippet, and finding conflict or questions with how can that be divine order, how could that be God's will, how could that. So it's a lot of times the reason you have a problem with statements that really are true over a long period of time is looking at them over a very short period of time and finding out, trying to come to a level of conflict with, well, yeah, but it wasn't, how could that be true then? Well, life is not, what is best for life and all things in life is never decided in just one moment. It's decided over a long continuum of time. It would make sense that creation in itself wouldn't be based on one moment of time. It's based on an infinite number of moments. So when you appreciate truths about the infinite, appreciate them in the context of infinite, which is why it's important to embrace your immortality. Not immortality as something you're going to achieve, but something you are experiencing. Remember, healing for one of us is healing for all of us. For this understanding we share with each other with an intention of healing and balance of acceptance, compassion, and love. Reflection questions. Where am I with accepting that I have lived before and those experiences are part of the foundation of what I'm experiencing today? Okay? Let me add something to this when we talk about past life. Remember, in the context of what the practice teaches us, which is conscious incarnation, a lifetime is simply a moment of time in which we were conscious of things being a certain way, and when we became conscious of them being a different way, in a way that shifts us, then we begin a new lifetime. Okay? So, past lives are lives you've lived prior to this life in a physical form, but they are also past lives you've lived in this physical form, but in a different way. So, for example, if I were to say, since you've been in your adult form, Denise, do you look at life the same way now as you did when you were in your 20s?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so your level of consciousness and the awareness of how life is and works is significantly different than what it was when you were in your 20s to now, right?
Right.
So your 20s would have to be considered a past life. If I ask you, well, how much of your life is the same as it was then? How much of you would say, well, not a lot of it. I may look similar, but my experience is much different. So your experience with life is what defines your lifetime. You get that? It's not just that, well, a past life is just when you were in a different body, or you were a man, or you're a woman, or a different place in time. That's true, but don't limit it to that. You know, a lifetime is a space of consciousness where what you knew to be a way was this way. And then when you know what is a different way, that is a shift in a lifetime. You should give yourself permission to shift into that new space of consciousness.
That's brilliant.
Got it? So don't just think past lives in this classical sense. You'll get hung up on, you know, that's why in some of the teachings and some of the classes that I've taught, I've explained that, you know, from where I was, okay, let's say from where I was in my 20s to where I am in my 40s, I have no actual explanation for how I became aware of what I've become aware of. It's literally been, you know, an exponential amount of lifetimes that I've gone through that has allowed me to become conscious of what I'm conscious of. It doesn't seem relevant or logical that I could get from one place to another in such a quick period of time. Something has to be bending, something has to be shifting. So I've gone through multiple lifetimes within a single lifetime, and that's why when the book came through and I was able to use the word conscious incarnation, it was explained. That's what those chapters are all about. When you start to have multiple lifetimes in a single physical form, then you no longer need to finish a lifetime out in a form. You can shift into a new lifetime, and your form can shift with you into that new lifetime. Form follows the consciousness. So when we talk about past lives, think about that. So where am I at in accepting that I have lived before and had experiences? Well, Denise is in a very good place with it, just within her own reference of her life. That who she is now isn't who she was. How many of you can say that who you are now, okay, to some extent isn't who you were 20 years ago? I mean, who can't raise their hands, right?
I can say 8 months ago.
Yeah, 8 months ago, exactly.
I'm totally different.
Right.
But I'm the same.
Right. But you are living in a different lifetime now than you were then. who you allow yourself to be, who you are, how you behave, how you react. There's been a shift in enough of those things where you are more different in many ways than you were. Yeah, you're the same. I get what you're saying. Allowing myself to be brave so that I can share with my family in class. What are some core issues that need to be healed that may very well be tied to past lifetimes? Okay. So has anyone kind of given some reflection to some issues they may still have that they can't really point to anything in their present physical existence, their present physical life, that they can't really put a beat on? Does anyone come up with anything that really kind of still baffles them, that they don't understand why is it this way? A lot of you have done a lot of work with me, so a lot of it's kind of cleared out, but anybody? Any? Kat, Sarah?
I don't, nothing that I that I can identify that much.
Yeah.
But
you have experiences that you can. Yeah, good. And just allowing yourself to have a sense of it, as we talked about last time, is the beginning of having a more clear awareness of it. Just allowing it to be possible, okay, will allow its development and its enlightenment. That's the beginning. Kat?
It's when someone comes from behind me and puts their hand around my mouth, like kids will do sometimes just playing. I have a violent panic reaction, and I have no idea where that comes from.
Okay. Okay. So everyone knows that experience, right? Everyone can picture what she's saying, right?
Like they come and, surprise you when they're going to put
But they put their hands around your mouth, right?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm not going to be able to breathe.
Right.
No idea where that comes from.
Okay.
But I do accept that it comes from a different existence that I've been in.
Yeah. And would you say, when I asked you intuitively, would you say that was a moment of abduction or death for you, that you relate that to, that it has that much of a startle reaction, that you associate it with something that detrimental happening to you?
It was a bad thing.
Yeah, it was a bad thing.
And I still have that reaction.
Right. So that's going to be something where when we get into the chamber tonight, let's make sure we bring you in for that, and let's do a healing around that in the chamber. Let's just see what energy can be moved around that.
I'm so pleasant from last week's chamber.
Oh, wow.
Long distance. That was amazing.
Isn't that neat?
It was not like being in the chamber here because it wasn't an intense energy flow. It was more like this warm tingle.
Isn't that neat?
It was just amazing. And I could not hear everything you were saying, but whatever it was good.
That's awesome.
It hit the mark once again.
That's awesome. That's even great because it doesn't even, Kat and I have this ongoing thing where she'll tell me, you're not talking loud enough, turn the music down, you're not talking. And now she has this experience where I don't even know what the hell you were saying, but that's all
It came through.
What are the ingredients that I am overusing in the dish that is my life, that overpowers the main ingredients of love, acceptance, and peace? That was a great metaphor that came through. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty neat. So what's an ingredient that someone feels they're overusing in their recipe of their life? What's an ingredient that you're tasting too much of that's having an overpowering effect?
Worry. What came to me was
Worry?
escape.
Escape?
Yeah, not being in the moment.
Interesting. Worry about anything specific or just in general?
A pretty generalized anxiety.
It's being sprinkled of just about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Anybody else? Anyone else?
Overthinking. Well,
Yeah. Oh, so overanalyzing? Okay, good. All right. So I put this book down, and I came in to talk about a topic, and then I opened, and I was contemplating, should I, I know I'm going to talk about this topic, so I was just looking for a little affirmation that it's the right topic. And I opened the book, and the page is this, okay? And someone actually takes this book off the couch where I like to read, and they put it on my chair, so it's literally just right in my path. Okay, the seed, it grows from the unseen. Awareness is its trunk. Its inner hollows are the senses. Its branches are the great elements. The objects of sense perception are its buds. I would never been able to pronounce this amazing person's name right, but I'll do my best because he would love that I just did my best. The Mahabharata. The seed that grows from the unseen, awareness is its trunk. Its inner hollows are the senses, its branches are the great elements, the objects of sense perception are its buds. I want to begin to bring you all into the space of immortality even further. And the beginning of really embracing the true essence of your immortality is to embrace your Immaculate Conception. And when you think about the Immaculate Conception in the classic sense, it's about the Mother Mary becoming pregnant with Jesus without supposed intercourse, okay? And again, it's not about the story, all right? It's about the fact that literally every conception happens because the Spirit of life is present to bring it into form. Which means literally every conception is immaculate. If I ask you, okay, where did you come from? We know that we've really done some good work about letting go of our point of origin. We know we didn't come from our mother and our father. We know we didn't come from our past. We know we didn't. We've come from this divine source. We come from life. We come from God itself. However you want to define that, we come from it. If we don't come from it, where do we come from? We come from it. But if I ask you, where did you come from? Before you entered into this body, where did you come from?
I could have asked.
There's no answer. You don't know. I was in the ethers. I was in existence. I was a spirit. Whatever, okay? But you weren't that. So you can explain, well, yes, there was a sperm and an egg, and they came together. But if you just take time and you look at the nature of what has to happen for the simplicity of a sperm and an egg to come together and be fertilized, and for simple cell division to begin, okay, it's immaculate. It's immaculate. The signature of divinity is all over it. It has to do it just the right way for it to happen. That's just the physical piece. It doesn't even begin to explain, where do you come from? And when we know that we have an existence that transcends a physical lifetime, when we begin to touch the gown of immortality and begin to put our arm in a sleeve and put it around us, we become overwhelmed with the fact that we come from this immaculate source. And we are all products of an immaculate conception. That the essence of what allows us to exist was not the intercourse of our mother and father in physical form. The essence of our existence was the creation of our essence. How is essence created but by divine? How is spiritual essence created? It's the greatest mystery. The seed it grows from is the unseen. What are you from? You're from the unseen. Where are you from? You're from nothing. You're from the everything. You develop in complete order and divinity. As you develop, all your cells differentiate and do exactly what they're supposed to be. They all start as a simple cell, and they divide into this kind of cell, that kind of cell. Is that not immaculate? Is that not immaculate? Where is there any sign that it's not immaculate? That level of perfection all the way down needs to be maintained all the way through. How can we not come from that? So now that we can take that step into immortality, we can take that step into our ongoing Immaculate Conception. We were not conceived immaculately. We are being conceived immaculately. We are the ongoing product of God's Immaculate Conception. Think about those words, Immaculate Conception. Don't just relate it to a reproductive process. It is conception, to conceive of something. We exist because God conceives us. God holds the concept of our reality in its intention. Just sit with that. Again, we're using words to describe something we can't comprehend. But even the words we're using blow you away. To be conceived. Because who ultimately had the concept of our form? Came from... You weren't sitting there developing inside your mom and dad going, okay, I need to have an arm, I need to have a leg. That form was preconceived. Preconceived. Prior to conception, it existed. What has the ability to exist prior to its own conception? Only something immortal. You were something before you were this, and you will be something when you are no longer this. Now that in itself is pretty powerful. But now, let's enter into the season. Let's enter into the story a bit. Let's take some general truths from the story. And let's just take what we can take from the character, a brother, and learn from it. So this whole notion of prophecy and preconception that Jesus was born under, the star, the alignment, all these things that were used to describe this event. Were you born under a star? Were you born under the stars? Like I was born under the stars. Was anybody not born under the stars? We're all born under those stars.
As was nature.
As was nature.
The trees, the flowers,
Everything.
everything.
So as you learn, as you start to realize, wait a minute, everything that was incredibly special about that individual and his ability to impact the world, change, bring teachings, enlightenment. What's different about his conception, really, than your conception? Now I know that the historians will say, well, he was born to a Virgin Mary and there was no penetration. Okay. Let's just take that, and I know they're going to say you can't take that step out because that's what makes it so special. In my opinion, that really has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with the sheer importance of the individual's existence. I wouldn't think that what Jesus was one bit less miraculous because we happen to find out that Mary and Joseph, as a married couple, had intercourse, and he was born from that. It wouldn't change his magnificence one bit. I don't hold on to someone's specialness because of that. That's me. Some people do. I honor that. But in this conversation, we're transcending it. That's the agreement as I take you into this space. You were all born of Immaculate Conception. You were all born under a star of prophecy. You were all born with an innate divine purpose within you. That's what prophecy is. It's a purpose. A purpose to fulfill. When one fulfills their divine purpose, They are fulfilling their prophecy. But in order to fulfill your prophecy, you have to realize what you are. If we don't realize what we are, it makes it very difficult, if not impossible, to fulfill our prophecy because we don't believe we have the ability, the potential, the gifts, the connection to fulfill it. That first misunderstanding is like tying your feet together and trying to walk. When you embrace your Immaculate Conception, when you embrace that there is nothing that separates what you are from what creates you, that you are that, immortally, that you were preconceived with a purpose and a function. Your cells aren't conceived with the ability to know exactly what they're supposed to do, okay, without that being innately in you. The purpose of your life is to understand that function, that purpose. And the crazy part is, for all of us, it's the same. The clothes on it are just the outfit. A doctor, a counselor, a businessman, a math tutor, an engineer at NASA, a financial assistant, spiritual helper, all the things we could call ourselves. They're all outfits we put on. But to fulfill to manifest our destiny, that comes from our Immaculate Conception, is to do nothing more than fulfill the order of life within ourselves and all around us. To be an example of that order. To do what that order would do. That's how you fulfill your prophecy. What would that which created me wish for me to do? What it does. What does it do? It creates life. It creates order. It cleans up. It reproduces. It grows. It learns. It balances. It loves. Those aren't personality traits that you need to develop. Those are in your preconceived energy. They just need to be awakened without choice. It's your destiny. It's the fulfillment of the form. It is immaculate. When you don't allow yourself to come from that place of honesty and truth, you immediately think that, no, it can't be me. No, I don't have that. No. You immediately start to look at what is not possible instead of living with the notion that everything is possible. And when you embrace your Immaculate Conception and the immortality that you come from in that preconceived notion, you don't even have to worry about what's possible in a lifetime. Because that isn't even relevant anymore. It's just what's possible. It's another wonderful, I think it was, I know I'm quoting him a lot tonight, I think Ram Dass said, what isn't God? So that's how I look at life. What isn't possible? How would I know? My Immaculate Conception does not allow me to know what isn't possible. It only wants me to focus on what is possible. Knowing your source, knowing that you were preconceived, that everything that comes into existence must have been preconceived to exist. It must have been conceived on some level to exist. So what that lets you realize is that you are in a preconceived reality. You are not in a reality you are creating. You are in a reality that has been created and continues to be created. And as a part of your destiny and fulfillment of your prophecy, God says, embrace that you are me in this and do as I would do. Knowing that, as I told you all, I'm the one cutting the lawn with the huge tractor, you're the one cutting the lawn with the tweezers. But start trimming the grass and practicing. So as long as you can take that step with me, which I hope it isn't too hard for many of you to take, that you are from an immaculate conception, that you literally are conceived by God. As you embrace that, you embrace all the gifts and abilities that come with coming right from that conception. So you don't enter into anything saying, that's not possible. You enter into everything saying, let's see what's possible. Let's see what happens. You don't enter into anything saying, oh boy, I'm this old now, and I'm going to be getting this old, and that's... You enter into everything saying, I'm here now.
So does it follow that the conception then can become the conceiver?
That the conception can become... Well, basically, everything is from the original conception. So even that which is conceived, okay, even if it is the conceiver, it is only the conceiver because it comes from that source.
I don't have much of a voice, but I have a question for you. What is the difference, if any, between what you're saying and that spark of divinity?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing. Absolutely
I
nothing.
wanted to make sure what
Can you
you're
No.
repeat
saying.
that, please?
She said, what's the difference between what you're saying and the spark of divinity? And the answer is nothing. So the point I'm driving at by telling you all this is as you embrace it, what is the potential of your life to bring change, love, peace? What is the potential of and the innate ability for you to fulfill your preconceived prophecy, so to speak? Unlimited. It's unlimited.
Okay, I have a question. I've always thought of Jesus as the Son of God, just like I'm a child of God. That's the way I've always thought of
Okay.
him, and as a teacher, and as someone who was way more tapped into all this ability than I am, but that we all have it. So, what did Jesus do? Not what would Jesus do, what did Jesus do to calm that monkey mind? Because I spend 90% of my life thinking that everything around me is reality. When I know it's not true. If I sit down and think about it, I know logically it's all how I perceive it. It's not really what's real. But the monkey mind in me says this, and this, yabba, and how, not Jesus, but anybody, you, in your process, how do you get past that to get to what's real? Because the monkey mind's going all the time.
Okay.
At least mine is.
That's okay. That's okay. It's a good question, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to it. I'll just say it to you. I am the I am. I am not a mind. I am what creates the mind. Because I am what creates the mind has no power over what I am. I conceive the mind. What I give birth to does not have control over what gave birth to it. That's just your stepping stone into your mind has been your authority. The Spirit of God is my authority. I am the I am.
Kat, there is a powerful, I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't have much voice power.
That's okay, someone will repeat for me if I can.
Wayne Dyer has a fantastic meditation that is the I am. It is powerful beyond all belief.
And the name of the meditation is the I am?
I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's, and as you embrace that, okay, what happens is then you begin to have the mind of God. The mind becomes a servant to the Spirit of God.
It's a switching.
It's not an opponent anymore. It's a servant. It's like the dog that wants to walk and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. And because it does it, it has to be on a leash. It always has to be pulled. That's where your mind is right now. My mind, when I walk, if I stop, it stops. If I walk, it walks. When I'm in stillness, it goes to stillness. Where when you're walking, when your spirit stops, your mind's still jumping around. So you have to have the authority. The Spirit has the authority over the mind. It was conceived before the mind. It predates it. You get it? So you have to, knowing what I'm telling you is exactly what's going to help you overcome that. Because there's a part of you that still feels like you need to, kind of wrestle with your mind a little bit. When in reality, when you can understand that the mind is a creation of what you are, you can look at it in a different way and you can establish a level of obedience. The mind needs to be obedient. It needs to speak when spoken to, and you need to learn when to shut up. Then it's useful. And like anything, when a dog has a good master, the dog relaxes, it's a happy dog. When a dog doesn't have a master that teaches it the rules, it doesn't know the rules, it doesn't know how to handle things, and it can get itself in trouble, and it's not even comfortable with what it's supposed to be. When you treat a dog like a dog and you handle a dog properly, the dog has a happier life. When you treat a brain like a brain and you handle it properly and you put it in its place and you help it have an idea of what it really is, the brain becomes happy with that role, it becomes content with that role, and it becomes useful in that role. But it needs to know its brain.
I don't know if it helps, Kat, but I'm very visual. So I always have monkey mind forever ago. Still do it, but I used to visualize myself like on a journey sometimes, and when it starts, I just sort of walk by. Like when it starts, I'm like, I don't really have a purpose there, and I just kind of keep walking. I don't know if it helps, but that helps.
Well, can you say that a little louder, just so
Yeah,
we can get it
please.
in?
I'm very visual, so when things pop up that really I know have no importance, and it's more me just bringing it in when it should be there, has no value to me, nothing at all. I just visualize it and just walk by, and just kind of like you're not meant to be, it's just me conceiving it more or less, and then I just
That's
walk by it. But for me, I just visualize things as the journey, and the beautiful things pop up and they're meant to be there, and then the other things I just sort of walk by. But sometimes that helps.
Listen again to how Mahabharata said it. The seed it grows from. This is like, he's talking about the essence of life, reality. Okay? The seed it grows from is the unseen. Awareness is the trunk. Its inner hollows are the senses. Its branches are the great elements. The objects of sense and perception are its buds. So, when you look at where he says the perceptions are, they're way out, away from it. They're connected, but they're the buds. But the essence is the awareness, it's the trunk. So your mind is a part of your senses. It's important to be connected to the sensual world. But the context of your connection, everybody, that's the reason I'm using conception is the same thing as connection. the concept, the context of your conception, your connection into the world, is what then allows your senses to have the proper context. When you are the preconceived immortal essence of God in a form, having a sensory experience, as well as a lot of other ones, it lets your brain know that although it is a part of processing a sensory experience, it isn't the only experience. And because you're not trying to stay alive every minute you possibly can anymore, because of your immortality, you have a sense of destiny in your life, that if you do all the things you can do to be healthy, balanced, and well, there is a moment of your passing that will come, not because you indulge in it, but because it is destined. That sensory input does not always need to take up all the bandwidth. You don't need as much information from it as it wants you to believe you do. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna chew on it.
Yeah, this is a big meal. Immaculate Conception. So again, what does this truth open up? Everything, all your possibilities, all your gifts. Now, again, if we want to just take a little bit of a word or two words or a phrase from Jesus' teachings, which I think one of the most important ones, I'll paraphrase, where you will do all the things I have done and what? More, greater. Now, why would he say that if we weren't what he was? How would we do everything he did and more if we weren't what he was?
I've always believed that, I just haven't known how to become it.
You don't become it. You realize you're it.
Right. But I've always believed it. I've always been able to speak it, but just not be it.
That's it. And this is what's stopping you from being it. Because your conceptual pattern was, well, I can't be that. I came from this. I have this. No. You came from that.
I don't even know if that's conscious, though. I can't, it's not conscious, I can't have this because I came from that.
No, it's not. It's not conscious.
No.
But that's the conceptual pattern of unconsciousness. Okay? That's the unconscious attachment to your old point of origin. My name is, my mother and father were, my nationality was, my race color was. That's all unconscious association, which what I'm taking the time to do tonight is bust it up.
Break out of the tribe.
Break out of it. Break out of it. Because what I'm offering you that's beyond it is the realization and of your Immaculate Conception.
Can I add something into that? Because one of the things that I do a lot of work with my clients is the feeling of being impotent, not sexually, but impotent, that they can't do what they want to do, whether it's money or whatever's holding them back. But if you take it back to the moment of your birth, when you are still within your mother, you still have that Immaculate Conception. You don't know any different. But it's the minute you go through the birth canal and all of a sudden you are thrown out into the world where everybody else is telling you what you can and cannot do. And all of a sudden that's taken away. And it takes a long time to go back and peel that onion back to what you originally were.
Now, I would respectfully disagree.
You can.
Because of the work I do with people, it begins upon conception.
Okay.
In the moment of conception, your world becomes, out of habit, what your mother's nervous system is telling the world is.
That makes sense. Nobody's ever disagreed with that way.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So her idea of what the world is becomes your developmental model that you're trying to prepare for. It does it for survival reasons. So if you're born into a chaotic situation or whatever, then your being geared for chaos, which is why your mind has difficulty with peace and order.
That just clicked for me. Thank you.
So I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom, everybody. Pull the plug on that shit. Pull the plug on it. Don't believe you come from that. You come from order. You come from peace. You come from love. You come from a preconceived, immaculate conception. That's what you need to be prepared to have a relationship with. Because that's actually what you are having a relationship with. Whether I'm having a relationship with you, or out there, or the weather, or nature, I'm having a relationship with a preconceived, immaculately conceived organism. It may not be behaving as such at times, but its essence is that. And I would be best to be preparing myself to have a relationship with that in every form.
So you say it comes from, like peace and order, and is health one of those things that it comes from?
Health is a state of balance within it. But one of the biggest things that causes health to not be more of a steady state, okay, is how we're reacting. Trying too much to survive, okay, is the biggest thing that endangers your health. It's ironic. Excessive fight-flight is the biggest thing that endangers health. So that's all we got for right now. That was enough. You guys got it.
I thought it was interesting. This is our 25th lesson,
Is it really?
and the 25th of December is coming
That's
up.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was intense. This was deep. This is one of those ones again. But as you embrace it, all I ask you guys to do when I give you, there's nothing new, but I'm using it descriptively. When I give you a new piece of information in a class, all I ask you to do is just do what you do with me. Just practice it. And when you start to practice it, watch what changes. Watch what happens. And when things happen at a different rate or pace, and you're feeling like, wow, my mind's a little calmer, this is a little different, just be a spectator of what you're implementing and give it a decent amount of time. And I think like a lot of other things I've taught you, you'll find that it's accurate and useful and beneficial in reprogramming your immaculate conception. To know what you are helps you become what you are. You are God in form. Period. You can be nothing else. And you are immortal. If nothing else, if you're as old as the universe, okay? How many billions, I don't even know how old the universe is now. What's the number? Is it
14 billion.
14, okay.
Or immortal. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm 14 billion years old, okay, I consider that to be immortal at this point. And I know it's more than that, but let's just, even if it's that, it serves me better to consider myself that way. Now the fun thing is, I want to just leave you with one more tidbit on that, because I found this to be very true. Immortality, embracing your immortality actually releases you from procrastination. Now you'd say, well, why? If I have all the time in the world, that would tend to make me more of a procrastinator. The reality is, because you cannot be removed from a situation by time, you are more prone to address it, deal with it, and resolve it, because you know it's not going anywhere. You can't wait it out. Procrastination is trying to wait something out. Immortality actually obliterates procrastination because there's no waiting. What you know you need to deal with in your life, you best just go ahead and address it, because it's not
going anywhere.
It's not going to go anywhere. So it's interesting how much more efficiently it lets you exist within the human-made construct of time. It actually makes you much more efficient, which I didn't expect, but when I embraced it, I noticed immediately that there was less of a tendency to procrastinate on anything. And I'm not a procrastinator, with most things. You know, I can move ahead. But I noticed even more. I was more motivated to do things immediately upon becoming aware of them without time than I was when I believed in time. So chew on that one too. I thought that was fascinating, and I'm looking to see what your feedback is on that too, if you find over a long period of time that you have the same issue. Okay, we got to get into chamber, and we're going to do our regular chamber. We're going to do hands-on. We have Denise is going to be first in the chamber. Denise is dealing with a shoulder issue that she is working through, and she's doing, as usual, everything she knows to help that. And she's coming across some stumbling blocks, so we're going to put her in the chamber first. And then I want to do a little healing with Kat on the hands, on the mouth, and see what comes up with that. And I bet you that's going to, that's going to pretty much take us into...
I don't want to take someone else's place if someone else wants.
There is no someone else.
Okay.
A healing for one is a healing
Yeah, there
for
is,
all.
right. There is no someone else.
And the second half.
Because someone else would be, someone else would still be you.
Carla, just stick to writing your own material, please.
I am. Get it?
Get it?
I'm not the only one to block the camera.
Yeah.
Denise, you're done looking at your body as something that you want to let you go. I want you to let go of everything in you that wants your body to just let you go. There you go. We're going to let go of all let me go from you and your body, between your spirit, your mind, and your physical energy. They all need to be harmonized, so we're letting go of let me go. There you go. There it goes. Okay, so that emptied, and now I want you to say, let me in.
Let me in.
Body, let me in.
Body, let me in.
So this is so beautiful because what she's doing is she's going through a reconception right now. She's entering into her body with all of us right around her, but not a body that she wants to let her go. Not a body she wants to get out of because it's a prisoner, because it makes her feel like she's stuck and she has to deal with it. She finally is entering into her form tonight saying, let me in, I want to be in, let me back in. I know I wanted to leave at one point. I know I really didn't want to be there all the time, but that doesn't work. I don't want to have any of that in me anymore. Let me in. I want to be in you. I need to be in you. I'm meant to be in you. We're meant to be together. We have to get along, and we'll get along if you let me in. I can help a lot more from the inside than I can from the outside. Because if you don't let me in, I have to have a lot of people help me from the outside. But if you let me inside, I can help from the inside out. And that's where this healing needs to happen for me, from the inside out. I don't want to break down this wall to get inside of you anymore. Well, Denise knows the energy that was around her conception. And she knows why she might not have wanted to be in. Maybe just been kind of in, watched. But she knows now she's got to be in. All the way in. And what I ask for her, I ask for all of you. That your bodies open up and you allow your spirit to fully be conceived in your bodies. You allow yourselves to fully be present in your bodies. Not this time fearing the death, not this time fearing loss, but this time in your bodies embracing immortality and empowering your body with the immortality that it was created in. You just can't write how these things come together sometimes.
Well, especially my earlier comment.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. love this guy stepping right in and being a part of this like this. I just love him. I just feel like he's just great. It's awesome. Thanks for being here. First thing that comes into her is, you're taking me out. You're taking me out. First thing that's very clear is, you're not a woman when I'm doing this. You're a man. Second thing that's very clear is, you're being robbed. Kidnapped. Held hostage. Breathe in and out, cat. Breathe in and out. With my hand on you, breathe in and out. Let it release. Everybody who's going through anything, who's feeling anything, you're all releasing. If you're feeling any angst or tightness, you're releasing being held hostage. Being held hostage by a situation. In her case, she's literally being held hostage. Being taken out of your life the way you know it and being taken into something else. Not of your own free will. Feeling helpless. No control. The way a person feels if they're drafted into the military. The way the person feels if they're born into a very difficult situation. That's it, everybody. Go into it. The way Kat felt when she was pulled into the darkness. We have to let go of a reaction pattern around these traumatic events, okay? We have to let go of it. We all want to say it together. I'm letting go.
I'm letting go.
Of what did I do?
Of what did I do?
To deserve this?
To deserve this.
That is a very dangerous reflection question to get into constantly. It never ends. We're best to say, with me now, say it. This is where I'm at.
This is where I'm at.
This is what's happening.
This is what's happening.
I'm going to be with it.
I'm going to be with it.
That's much more functional. It's present. There it goes. Okay, Kat, turn around for me now. That was amazing. It's time for the throat to heal now, Kat. It's time for the slit to heal. It's time for the cut to heal. There you go. We have all been murdered, and we have all been the murderer. When we allow it to enter into a space of irrelevancy and realize that it was a part of the path we all went through and were subject to, we can find peace. Beautiful. There it goes. Now, if you all, I know you can sense it through her, but she is absolutely, completely relaxed with my hands tightly around her neck. She cannot believe it. They are tight. But it's because it's bringing a healing and a sealing to this. It's closing it up. Boy, everybody, thank you so much for all the love you're sending. It's really beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to watch, because we're going to, I want you to realize in this space how quickly it is. Turn around, Kat. She'll notice it immediately. Not even a flinch.
Amazing. Now I can play with those kids again.
Everybody, every moment, celebrate your own Immaculate Conception. Celebrate your own immortality, the perfection of your preconception. All that you were before what you are, and all that you will be eternally. Blessings to all of you. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you next year.